ESPN family, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jill.
And this is Roadhouse Digits. All right, season 12, episode 13.
Yep.
The aptly named Family Feud.
Family Feud.
And we got a little bit of what I thought we were going to get towards the end. We kind of had two Family Feuds going on. I thought we only had one Family Feud, but we had two Family Feuds.
Two Family Feuds because we had the main plot of this episode, but a smaller plot of the season, and then we had the smaller plot of this episode.
Yeah, you had your...
But a larger plot of the season.
You had your little weekly, storyline, but then a lot of
setup going on this week. This was a big transition week. I wouldn't call it main action episode, but it's definitely not filler either. It's that setup because a lot of things went down this episode between, we'll end with that, but Mary and the boys and the talking about Men of Letters, but we also had a lot of information this week about Lucifer's son, which we have confirmed is the son, and confirmation that one of our Yellow Eyes is indeed interested in Lucifer's child and is interested in protecting the child. So
let's talk about the Family Feuds. So Crowley's pissed.
Yeah.
And I think that's setting up for him to kind of get back to being the villain like he was
Crowley.
In like the season 8. He showed a little bit of humanity at that point, but really in season 9 I felt like he was the big baddie, and I think
season 8 he was bad. He was really bad because that was when he was really bad because that was when he was killing everyone.
Oh, that was 8? I thought
that
was
was 8 because at the end of 8 that's the trial.
Yeah.
So that's when then he goes back human. So 9's when he's locked up and then just torturing Kevin.
Okay.
Just
So, but the point is, I think we're kind of getting back to Crowley being the villain as opposed to an anti-hero.
I think he's very, very bitter over Rowena choosing the boys over him because he always had this little thing of wanting to be accepted by the boys, and they never could fully accept him because he's on this side of evil. And now he's seeing them sort of pair up with Rowena, which I feel is doubly insulting because it's his mother choosing the boys over him, and more than that, it's the boys choosing his mother over him. And I think that that's really tough because he always figured that he could never have a true trusting relationship with them because he was evil. But then we get Rowena, who's evil, and they seem to be getting along pretty okay in his eyes.
Yeah, I don't even look at Rowena as evil.
Well, I'm sorry, but having someone's son killed as revenge is pretty evil. That's evil.
Yeah, I suppose. So one thing I don't quite understand is they flash back to episode 8 where Crowley manipulated the spell that was intended to lock up Lucifer.
That was great, and then sent him back to Mac Pellegrino's vessel.
I don't understand the logic or his motivation for doing that, because it was just a year ago that Lucifer chained up Crowley and had Crowley.
Exactly. So this is revenge.
Chains.
This is him wanting that.
But wouldn't the ultimate revenge having him be locked up for eternity?
No, because first of all, Crowley wouldn't get to take part in that. Second of all, I think Crowley has other plans for Lucifer, plans that are now messed up with this child about. But I think with Lucifer comes an ultimate amount of power. I think he wanted him trapped in this vessel so he could torture him, and I also think he just wanted this card in his pocket, whereas when it's in the cage, he has no control over this card, but if it's in his dungeon, he does have control.
Yeah, I suppose. Great way to
bring back our favorite Lucifer.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, and
we found roundabout
old
way
vessel and improved said vessel so it can be your permanent resting place. And you know what? I am so okay with that. I am so okay with.
I think everybody's okay with it.
This is such BS because all right, I love Supernatural, so don't I'm not hating on Supernatural here. But come on, if there was a way to freaking improve Lucifer's vessel so we wouldn't have to switch it, we don't need season 5, which I think if we took a vote amongst fans is the best season of the entire series. Like, I think that season comes in first as far as best seasons.
Yeah.
And if you remove the need for him to need a stronger vessel than Mark Pellegrino's vessel, it completely devoids his need to get Sam to say yes and then, like, the Michael thing to say yes. Like, if we could just, you know, just give some juice and make this vessel better. But you know what? I'm going to look past that and I'm just going to accept it because I'm so happy to have Mark Pellegrino back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fan service.
Fan service.
That's just straight up fan service.
Just sort of a plot. We sort of got rid of the tie-in too of Gavin, so we sort of found a way to like sort of
that
tie
story
him
is
aside.
kind of closed.
It's just closed. And then how about like the bitterness of if we talk about Rowena turning into a leaf, but the evilness, the sheer hate that you have to think I'm gonna talk this innocent person into killing himself because I know the pain that it's gonna cause you. Like, that's rough. Mm-hmm. She is.
That's the only takeaway from the weekly story.
One tough cookie. Now let's go into
the big
Mary.
Overarching takeaway is, well, I mean, I was reading a lot of social media on how people really don't like Mary.
A lot of people are negative on Mary. I love Mary. I love her. I gotta agree, though. I gotta agree with you guys. Like, it's a tough sell because it's someone interfering with the boys. I love her. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. Which I can understand why people are having a tough time with her. They waited. Yeah, no, but she is. But don't like, seriously. If they had, like, season 1 introduced Sam and the Demon Blood story arc, everyone in the fandom would have been like, God, this Sam Winchester's a dick.
No, don't do that.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Like, if that was his first season, or if, like, Mark Kane Dean was season 1, like, there was years before they had their season screw up, like, their seasonal screw up. This just happens to be Mary's seasonal screw-up, just happens to be the first year we get her. But it's a tendency that I think is very realistic for a Winchester, because we've seen Winchesters do something against the grain in the thought process that they're doing it for the right reasons. They're not doing it for the right reasons. And unlike in past seasons, she's like brought it up to talk about. Like when, as soon as the Men of Letters was like, I think you should distance yourself. And I thought she saw that as a red flag.
Props her for bringing it up right away. As opposed to when Sam was, sucking on demon blood, he kind of hid it and, kept it secret.
But he had this moment too, if you remember, where he tells Dean what he was doing.
He tells Dean what he's doing, and then he tells him, I'm going to stop, but he doesn't stop.
No, but there's that one episode where he tells them that he's going to keep going. Like, and he's like, that I think I'm doing the right thing. Yes, that
happened later on.
Yes. So she's like, she's at this point where she's like, I understand, but I feel this way. And I just, love the boys dynamic. Because Dean he's such a stubborn, headstrong character that he will do anything for you without asking questions. He will go defy logic. He will defy reason to do anything to support you. But the second that you turn your back on his core family, he just goes into self-defense, shutdown mode of like, screw you. You're not hurting my family. I don't care about you, yada, yada, yada. And we've got Sam over here who's trying to be so reasonable and nice. Like, well, we have reasons for not trusting them. Like, broken ribs and burnt feet. Like, weeks of just days, really. It was days. But, like, days of awful, awful torture. Where Sam was, like, had blowtorches put to him. And you were just willing to look past all of that, Mom. And Dee's just like, no. But what I liked was the end of the episode showed that they were still talking about it. Like, we got to see that there was more to that conversation that we didn't get to see at the end.
Or hear at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love Mary. Give her props for, being upfront and honest about, her whereabouts.
Well, yeah,
what she's doing.
This point, to come clean. And I don't think, we can't say upfront. We're past upfront.
Well,
but to come clean about her whereabouts.
You know what? When push comes to shove, she's going to pick her kids over the Brits.
Yeah, of course she will, but like at
So,
the same time,
don't hate on her for...
don't hate on me.
Because when push comes to shove, she's going to pick her kids over the Brits.
Yeah.
Period, end of story. Alright. I got that off my chest. I'm just so sick of the Mary hate. I'm so sick of it.
I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, you have to understand, you're new-ish to this fandom. Like, you came, like, 3 years ago.
And I don't have...
You've come to a fan... He's joined the fandom.
I don't have an emotional attachment to the boys.
But no.
Sorry.
It's not that. You've come into the fandom at a very weird time. Like, if you agree with this statement, that since season 10... women who have come onto this show have been much better received. Like, basically, Jody Mills, Sheriff Donna, and Charlie, like, characters that
Jody Mills goes back a
No,
while
I know.
ago.
I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is, the episodes that you've seen live with women characters, that is a new trend of this fandom liking female characters. If you look at the history of our female characters, they keep getting killed off because they're not well received.
Yeah.
Like, it's partly because everyone dies, and it's not a target against women. I really don't want to get into that debate tonight. But there have been instances where writers have killed off female characters because the fandom hated the female characters. Like, that has happened. Like, that was, like, a big part of killing off Joe. Like, Joe and Ellen.
Yeah.
Like, because people hated Joe. Like, full on hated her.
I don't understand that
Because
either,
she had a crush on Dean, and it was a thing. Anyway.
Because I'm a guy, and I don't have an emotional attachment to Dean.
Everyone has an emotional attachment to Dean.
I don't.
He gives you the face. That, by the way, best line of tonight's episode. Don't give me the face.
Okay. Impala rating.
This is tough. This is a tough week
one
to rate because, well, I'll just, I don't know. Okay.
Alright, so I got one.
Alright, ready?
I'm ready.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 6. I give it an 8.
You gave it an 8.
I gave it an 8. Here's
so
why.
7 Impalas.
Here's why I gave it an 8.
7 Impalas.
I think a 7 is
solid
perfectly
7.
acceptable too.
I want to hear your 8, which is really high.
So it sounds high, but my justification for giving it that high of a number was I'm thinking of like it's a B minus.
Well, I don't direct this into like 10, 20, 30, 40. Like, I don't, like, I'm not giving the episode a 60. I'm just saying, like, 6 out of 10. I guess that's kind of what it equates to. But I gave it a 6 because I'm happy that it got a 7. Because I do think it's important enough.
It's about a C.
What I think this episode did, it was great. Because I think it's setting up for a really good end of the season, and and I think that's important. Like this set up a lot of really great things. I'm really interested. Like, we didn't even talk about Yellow Eyes this episode, and like her protecting and killing the angels. Great plot point, important part point. Lucifer like smiling, super happy about how this is all going to go down. I think that we have a very, very strong end of season. I think it's interesting that Mary's communicating with the boys, that she's communicating with the Men of Letters, and there's that sort of a muck. I don't know that the Men of Letters knows that she's been that she told Sam and Dean that she's working with them. We're seeing more new Men of Letters toys. I think the setup from this episode, awesome. I just think the episode itself was not unbelievably high impact like last week, which it's impossible to have every week be like that. However, I was very, very pleased with what we're going to get to see from this episode.
Yes.
So I have a very positive takeaway. It's the waiting game now.
So one kind of loose end I want to tie up. Before we started watching it, I mentioned early on in the review that I thought that somebody was going to be really pissed off that the Colt went missing. Well, we didn't hear about the Colt. Do you think that was discussed in the conversation that we didn't get to hear between Mary and the boys?
Oh, yeah, and when they're talking about the Colt.
Does the Colt get mentioned
there? I do think that whether or not it was brought up there, I think that if she's going to come clean, she's going to come clean about everything.
Here's another reason why I bring up the Colt, right? Because that's, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only weapon that can kill any.
No, there's 5 creatures in the world that can't kill. We talk about this week.
See, my recollection is not not there. I admit when I'm wrong. My recollection is just not there. What are the 5 things?
The 5 things
Yep.
is God,
Yep.
God's sister,
Yep.
Michael,
Yep.
Lucifer,
Yep.
and I can't off the top of my head remember.
Is it the spawn of Satan?
I don't think that was listed.
Are they going to use the cult to kill the spawn of Satan?
I know that's where you're going with that.
That's where I was
It's
going
the
with it,
potential.
yeah.
I know that, but but like Lucifer can't be killed with the coal. God can't be killed with the coal. Michael can't be killed with the coal. God's sister can't be killed with the coal. And there was one other thing. But they said they've always said this. There's only 5 creatures on Earth that
what's the
can't
5th?
be killed. I have to look it up.
In the comments below, tell us what the 5th
I'll put it in a
creature
note.
was.
Oh my gosh, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
But yeah, that's where I was going with
It's
it.
also late.
Are they going to find the coal and use it to kill Lucifer's kid? Which, by the way, we didn't even get there. Lucifer is just, hanging out, chained up in his chair, and he was probably the happiest.
Happy as a clam.
Yeah, he is perfectly fine being chained up in his chair.
Yeah, that's not really a problem. So, guys, let us know in the comments below, what do you think next week the relationship between the boys and Mary will be? Will they be working through it? Are they not going to be on talking terms? Will Sam be talking to her, but not Dean, because he seemed to be dealing with it slightly. He's definitely hurt, but slightly more rationally than Dean.
Mary did make a mistake today. She forgot one really important thing, and I think it would have helped Dean get over it.
The pie?
Yeah.
The pie.
She bought the hamburgers, but no pie.
But no pie. But anyway, so let us know in the comments below if you think that they'll be in a talking relationship last week. And let us know. How are you feeling about Mary? Because just because we like her doesn't mean that you have to. Because I like the debates going on, so let us know. Obviously, we agree. We think she's wrong to be working with the men of letters. But how are you feeling about her? So guys, thank you so much for all the new subscribers, and thank you for joining our Roadhouse Idges family. So if you would like to be part of that, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button in the link below. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And if you tweet us with the hashtag SBOnRI, you can ask us any questions and we'll try to answer those for you on Twitter. We're trying to be more vocal on our social media page. And definitely hit that subscribe button so you can see our new videos every Friday. Thanks so much for stopping by the Roadhouse.
Carry on and have a wayward week.